up to speed, up to speed, up to speed.
Live from the apocalypse, the new sound, better than the old sound, and less people involved than the Joe Budden podcast. Really, we don't have 6 couches of confusing people. This is State of the Game. Throwing shots, Joe Budden. And I am your host, Dan O. I am 50% that bitch. 50% meh, 50% that bitch. Depends on which day you catch me. And my co-host, I play an important role in his life. He never gets made fun of. And I am all of his negative comedic nutrients, right? Like I am all of that for his diet.
Balance, man. We know we need balance. So
I'm providing that balance regularly, which I do for a lot of people. So thank you for everybody accepting those nutrients. Kay, thank you for being here every week.
Yeah, man.
It was our grand mid-year episode. So this has been a weird year, man. I was thinking about it, right?
Okay.
My son putting shots up. We're outside, and talking about. I was like, "What's your favorite album of this year?"
Me?
No, I said to him.
Oh, him. Okay.
And he was like, "I might delete later." I'm like, "That's last year." The Future of Metro Boomin, that's last year. Like he kept naming stuff, but it was last year. And I remember I was like, "Oh shit!" For him, the year really hasn't started yet. I hadn't thought about it from that perspective. But if you're looking at like the top names everybody knows,
yeah,
his year hasn't started yet.
Well, I mean, I think of it almost kind of like the movies. Like the movie season really doesn't start until like that first blockbuster is dropped. That has everyone talking about it, regardless if it's good or not. It's in everyone's conversation.
It's a great comparison because I think about that all the time. The movie guys who see every movie, right? And they'll be like, "You gotta see this German torture thriller, The Chrysalis," and and most people are like, "Get the fuck out of here, movie guy!" Like,
Right.
I'm gonna go see a funny romantic comedy in the theater, maybe, or a heist movie, or maybe a biopic of interested, maybe a Marvel movie, right? Or kids Disney movie. But like, I'm not here for your exotic, challenging, multi-shot, flickering torture thriller because I got shit to do. Like, I'm not that guy, right? This is not my thing. So I think about that because I want to remember that's how casual music listeners think about me. I'm the Chrysalis guy.
Oh, for sure. I mean, they'll check out the Chrysalis if there starts like, at the end of the year, there starts to be a conversation about it. Like, oh, Chrysalis, it was nominated for Oscar for Best Picture, first horror movie to ever do that. Then people, now that there's a conversation that they want to be a part of, now they'll start checking in on it. But if you just mention that movie at the beginning of the year, they'll be, oh, okay, yeah, I'll keep that on my radar.
Especially if you're the crazy movie guy that loves movies, right?
Right.
And so you're like, the Chrysalis, man, you gotta watch the Chrysalis. And then like they're like, yeah. And then they go to another party, and a cool person that they know is cool is like, oh shit, you got to see the Chrysalis, man. That shit's crazy.
Yeah.
Then they're like,
It takes multiple people.
what are we
That's
talking
with some people, it takes multiple.
Yeah.
They're more. It's not that they like necessarily the chrysalis. They want to be part of that conversation in some form.
Yep. Yeah. It becomes it rolls downhill, right? The snowball rolls downhill and
Yeah.
gains, and people want to be a part of that and see what's going on. What is the hubbub about? Right?
Right.
And in a way, hubbub is kind of the only promotional tool left.
Now, how do you define hubbub?
Like, so I guess back in the day, it would be water cooler conversation.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, if you think about when everyone knew they needed to watch Game of Thrones and when it started to become that,
Right.
right? That's how it was for DMX getting popular.
Hmm. Do you mean DMX early on or DMX?
DMX, like the whole scale up to It's Dark and Hell is Hot, like
Okay.
it was hubbub, right? And because traditional promotional tools were not his necessarily thing, right? Like
Right.
his interviews were pretty wild. He was. Do you remember the "Get at Me, Dog" video?
Uh, no, I don't. I mean, I think I was a little bit younger.
That's fair. That's fair. Oh, so DMX, right? DMX. Um, he was unconventional, right? We talked about the interviews. He couldn't. He was a little out there. He was skipping engagements. But beyond that, right? You get at me, dog. I point out where I point out because he swears so much in that song. It's bleep 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 bleep, right? He refused to do a clean version. So if you look up the "Get at Me, Dog," it's bleep 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 bleep. You know what I mean? And it was hard to sell, but the hubbub was so real.
Hmm.
Well, like buzz and hubbub are different.
Okay.
Buzz is more of like a strategic uh industry thing, right? We are creating buzz, you know? The hubbub is like a genuine bubbling up.
Or so organic's more organic than buzz to you?
Right. Hubbub is like becoming as loved as Allen Iverson.
Hmm.
You know?
Okay.
And you have to do that. So there's a bunch of successful people who are very successful, but they're looking for hubbub. You know?
But look for hubbub. Okay.
Looking,
Like, or
give me an example, right?
yeah.
There's a guy named Maxo. He just released an album. This is not Maxo Cream, Maxo.
Okay.
Maxo. He just released an album called Mars is Electric. It's very good, 10 songs. Maxo's been around for a while, dude. I'm looking at Tidal, right? 4, 5, 6, 7 albums on Tidal.
Oh wow. Okay.
Maxo's here and been here and has a good reputation for doing good work, right?
Right.
Good reviews, good pitchfork scores, right? But have you ever heard of Maxo before I mentioned him?
No, I thought you were talking about Maxo Cream.
Right. So what Maxo needs to do is break out of this confined space to create that hub. Right? How do you do that? Right? How do you do that and not sell your soul? You know? Yeah. So hubub is a thing. How do we get to the hubub? Right? The clips are getting to the hubub right now, right? They're getting to it in a way that is interesting. Mike Eagle had a really good Open Mike Eagle had a really good breakdown of it.
Okay.
Clips kind of laying waste to everybody on this. Sorry, Pusha laying waste to everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Malice. No, Malice has no part.
Killing, like yeah, he's just laughing in the background. But like Push laying waste to everybody, and he's like, all these situations you're talking about could have easily been handled behind the scenes. But he saved them up.
Absolutely. He's got like his notebook and he's just writing down like, oh, you interrupted the studio session? Yep. Okay.
Right.
Remember that?
Not only does Push plan the next album, I think he plans the hubbub. Like at this point, he plans. He's oh, I'm pissed at that guy. Okay, that's next album.
Well, I mean, I think he knows. First of all, Push is a very intelligent man,
Oh, yeah.
and so he understands the way marketing and buzz works in 2025.
Sure.
He understands that I guess you could say the hubbub or, the gossip is kind of almost having hubbub or gossip around your project can almost be a sort of like a marketing campaign.
Yeah, and he's crafted this reputation, right? Yeah. So, and this is why I put it in the hubbub category, right? He's crafted a reputation recently of being someone who I don't sell like the big boys, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I out rap the big boys.
Yeah.
That's his whole thing, right? So when he comes on, he's like, fuck Travis Scott. That guy's not even really rapping.
And the fact that like I think of So Be It was released last week, right?
Yeah.
So Be It was released last week. And as soon as he released it, he already had the Rolling Stones interview. Like he did a Rolling Stones interview. He had another portion of that interview released the same day. Yep. On top of another interview that he had where he was like, okay, where he was explaining the situation. So there was no gray area about who he was talking about.
So I think what Mike Eagle was talking about is there's an artificial element to this, right?
Yes, for sure.
But people love it. People love the hubbub, and they don't just love the show. They love Push.
Yes.
People love Push. People need a bad guy, right? Push loves that shit. And by the way, people on the internet who are always like, he didn't do any of that stuff. I'm like, dude, all of his friends are in jail on the RICO Act. Like,
yeah, I mean, this is his promotion. It kind of reminded me of like Usher. He had that album, was it Confessions in early 2000 that got big off of Burn. Was it Burn? It wasn't Let It Burn. It was because he was dating Left Eye at the time. No, not Left Eye. No, not Chili. He was dating Chili.
Yeah.
So he kind of incorporated, his relationship with Chili into the promotion of his album. So I think Pusha is great because he read the room, like the Astro World Netflix documentary on Netflix came out a couple weeks ago. So he just read the room, formulated like a marketing plan to kind of, you know, create some hubbub, as you would say, for the project, and it's really taken off.
Right. And so the hubbub is a thing. You're trying to get the hubbub to spread beyond your circle of people
Yeah,
to people who don't know you, so they need to know you.
yeah. And you know, what I liked about it is, like, yes, there was some hubbub for sure, but you know, once you listen to the song, it's a good song. You
Oh
know what
yeah,
I mean?
and it's great video. Like he does what he does.
Right. So if you're going to create some attention towards your project, you have to make sure the project is actually worth listening to and tuning into,
100%.
which is the second step.
100%. So yeah, the hubbub is what everybody's chasing. Uh, uh, so yeah, the hubbub is real. Hubbub is what people are chasing, but there's a bunch of people like Open My Eagle doesn't want to do this kind of shit for it.
Like who?
Open Mike Eagle, he's dropping the
Oh,
same
Open Mike Eagle. Okay.
as the clips, and he's not going to do any of this. You know what I mean? It doesn't suit him, so he's got to find his own way to the hubbub.
Right. I mean, you have to be at I guess, a certain level of celebrity. You know, like Pusha he's reached a certain level of celebrity that Open Mike Eagle has not.
Sure.
And this has nothing to do with their artistry. They're both great artists. It's the celebrity. So you can push that angle if you've reached a certain level of celebrity. But if you haven't reached that level of celebrity yet, it looks almost like you're thirsty for attention.
Yeah, I mean, well, visibility is the goal, right?
Yes.
Visibility, and visibility's been on my mind just in the sense that um and beyond the clips, right? We just have way less event albums.
Right. Right.
Like if albums are contained within a sphere, right? Like Playboy Cardi, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Right? He dropped that album. Right? It was long. It was long, and I guarantee you the Playboy Cardi generation listened to it and no other generation did.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the rollout was kind of chaotic.
Yeah.
You know, like it was supposed to release at 12. He didn't end up releasing it till like 5 a.m. in the morning or something like that. I think I skimmed it once. And that was enough for me.
It's not, yeah. They're event albums. I was thinking about this. They expand beyond who they were made for.
Mm-hmm.
That's an event album.
Mm-hmm.
Right? An event album is so big, it's more than its target audience. The target audience remains there, but it's more than that.
You're right. I agree.
Think about My Dark, Beautiful, Twisted Fantasy, right? Mm-hmm. And you think everybody that rocked that was a Kanye fan?
No, I mean, it was just people. Well, I mean, that for me, that was probably my Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. That was probably one of the best rolled out albums,
right,
we've had in our modern times. You know, because he had, you know, before that he had the Taylor Swift incident at the VMAs, and then he came back. He disappeared for a little while, came back with Power,
Yep.
and then he had the Good Friday series, and then he released the album.
That to go into that, right?
Yeah.
Music nerds were like, "Oh my god, he sampled King Crimson," right?
Yes.
Oh my god, like he ends the album with Gil Scott Heron. That's crazy. Like,
Mhm.
but people who are not music nerds and didn't know that still loved that album.
Yes.
So it was an event album that crossed into a lot of people's lives, right?
For sure. I mean, and I mean, like I think of it like to go back to movies, like the Avengers or something, like the Avengers movie, Endgame.
Yeah.
Uh, that was an event movie. Like there was a build up to it, and this was going to be the payoff from all of that build up. So I think for event projects, you have to build up to it, and then the project is the release of that build up.
And much like movies, right? When was the last comedy movie released that was an event and everyone had to see it? That's a long time ago. That's a long time ago.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking like the early, like those early 2000 like Wedding Crashers, Over,
Hangover,
Hangover, yeah, maybe Hangover, yeah.
and like that's how long it's been without an event from that genre, right?
Right.
Like so, it's in the same way movies have thinned out with events. Um, Music is thinned out with events, and it took me a while to realize it, right?
Hmm.
Because I love the underground, and it's been a great year for me.
For sure, yeah.
I
There've been a
mean,
lot of great
like,
projects, for sure.
oh, amazing. And so I'm loving it. And it took me until I talked to my son about that, and he was like, "Yeah, none of that." Like, I was like, "Oh shit!" Like, that is weird. Like, the pop space is a little bit sick right now.
Mm. You said sick. Wow. Okay.
It's a little bit sick, you know. What can they do for you, right? Like, why would Joey Badass need to sign to a label, right? Like, why would any of these people need to sign to labels?
mm,
What's the advantage, right? Put clips, right? Def Jam shuts down the Kendrick verse. They leave. I don't. That story I've heard is not all the way real, right? But either way, they leave Def Jam. They do a distribution deal with Rock Nation.
hmm.
All they need is a distribution.
Right. I
They
mean,
can create the hubub.
yep. And Rock Nation knows that. Like I said, Pusha is very, very strategic. Like, um, he knows exactly what he's doing, and you have to get to that level. Not every artist can do that. If you've reached that level, you have more resources that you can leverage to create that hubbub.
We always talk about, people that are in an interesting spot, right, in their worlds. So think about it. You're Lupe Fiasco in 2025. And you're not as jacked as Lupe Fiasco is. If people go to his Instagram, he's been bulking up.
Oh, it's been in shape, yeah.
Good for him. Um, where would you rather sign or release an album through? Def Jam or Backwoods?
Well, it depends on what the intention is for the project. Like,
Because Def Jam is probably going to fumble your shit,
yeah,
right? And you're not the places Def Jam's going to try and put you, you may not even fit on, right? Because their playbook is so old.
and I mean they don't really have like Def Jam. Like they don't really have like when I think about it, like maybe in like the '90s, early 2000s, their advantage was, their access to outlets such as, the radio. Like they could put your song on the radio or get you access on MTV, put your video on MTV, which was like the promotion back in the day. Like that's how I found out a lot of the music that I listened to was from watching MTV or listening to the radio.
Yeah,
Those avenues don't really kind of exist anymore in that capacity that they were.
correct. It's thinned out the spaces you can sell yourself. And so
Right.
um if I'm Lupe, I'm looking at backwoods like, okay, their fans are not necessarily my fans, but definitely know me. My fans know them. But this could work. Also, like they do really good merch, right?
Yeah. And that's what it is to me. It's like it's the feasibility of it. Like you look at it like a Lupe can create a great project on Backwoods for a reasonable amount of investment
Right.
and make sure, and he will more than likely get his money back plus some.
Yeah, right. He might make more, right, with that stuff, which the people who were talking about that was like West Side Gun, right? Remember the run that they went on.
Mm-hmm.
They were making more independently than a lot of people were getting all the streams because
Right.
they were in 360 deals or whatever.
Right.
So it's becoming interesting, right? The pop world is sick. Um, it doesn't have, you know, just the top is creaky, you know, um, and I think and old, right? Like we're talking about how long's Drake been doing this? Long fucking time, bro.
He
Like,
came out 2009, so he's going on 15 years now.
and by the way, same with Kendrick, same with Ross, same with Two Chains, all the people you could name that are in the pop recognizable space have been at it for a trillion years.
Yes. Yes.
And so what's up? Like there is new generations, right? There is, Ty Glizzy and all these people. Um, there's lots of people, right? Babytron and cool people, but they're not that sound is so not connecting anywhere outside of its intended audience.
Mm.
It's not going to become an event.
Right. Right. I mean, because think about the only way you mentioned Babytron.
Yeah.
Like the only way you could hear, like I don't know if I can't recall a Babytron song off the top of my head. I'm sure he has. I'm sure he's had a song I've listened to, but
Yep.
you'd have to go out of your way to find that. It's not going to be put in front of you easily.
Right.
Like you'll have to go to a specific, what do they call it? Like playlist on Spotify or something, or like you're not going to. It's hard to organically come across music like it used to be, like a couple years ago.
Right.
Maybe that's the issue in general because it's very hard to organically come across music. Like if someone doesn't put you onto it, like a friend, like you're driving with a friend and he puts it on the car, you will not organically in your day-to-day life come across new music.
Right. Like, I love Little Tekka. How is Little Tekka going to spread beyond the people that already know Little Tekka? Right? Like, I don't know. It's an interesting thought to me. And it's interesting because it's something the underground's always thinking about.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's the whole thing. We don't have the visibility, but we have the freedom. Right? That's the whole underground trade-off. Okay, we don't have the visibility, but we have the agreement. We have the freedom. But now in the pop space, they don't have their freedom and they don't have the same scale and proportions that they used to have.
Mm-hmm.
They're kind of in little spaces,
Yeah, and for the major, like the marketing is not. As I said, with the big events, there's a build up. You know what I mean? I can't like you think of like the Cardi, is it what's his name? Playboy Cardi?
Yep.
Like there was really no build up for that project. In a way, like let's go back to the early 2000s. Like 50 Cent, Get Rich or Die Trying.
Because of the mixtape scene, right?
The mixtape scene, right.
Built that through the mixtape scene.
Yes. And so there was a build up. And then he dropped In the Club, which took over everywhere.
Right.
And then he released his album.
Yep.
And I mean, that lasted over, I'll have to see, but that took months.
Yep. And so because we haven't had the major crossover new generation pop stuff happening,
right?
A lot of the discussion that I've been hearing is about older rappers putting out new music.
Okay.
Slick Rick just put out Victory. Will Smith put out an album earlier this year. That's one of the worst things I've ever heard. People are honing in on missteps. Lil Wayne, Carter 6, right? I dropped a little column on that about how, Wayne stopped feeding his brain, and so his random stuff isn't that random anymore.
Well, he tried to create an event album. I think the Carter 6 he was trying to. I
agree.
But then again, that's also a kind of problem when you try to create an event album. Most of the time, it backfires against you. So
the crux of the piece, I was saying, Kay, is that he was always chaos. Wayne was always chaos, right?
For sure, yes.
But he's been so audacious in recent years about, I don't follow rap music, I don't do anything except skate and watch Sports Center, that all his bars are just Sports Center bars. And it's someone who's not feeding himself new stuff, and so that's what Carter 6 sounds like to me. Why are you redoing a Weezer song from a million years ago? Why is Bono on here? What is going on? It's all someone who's checked out of what's happening right now, and that is kind of tough if you're an older artist, right? Like, if you're checked out of what's happening now, it's tough. to just step into the scene and be like killing it. But there have been major successes that I don't think get talked about enough.
Okay.
Um, so let me see here. Pull that up. Number 22 on my top 25 is AON3, Despite My Mistakes by Lloyd Banks, All or Nothing series. And it's beautiful. It's like the album of his career. He's still doing punchlines, but it's mature punchlines, life lesson punchlines. It's hot lines that connect to things he learned in his life. It's really dope. It's really dope. And it reminisces and it does all that, but it's still at that Lloyd Banks hit you in the face tempo. So it's great. I think it would probably be a similar thing with Exhibit Kingmaker.
Okay.
Exhibit Kingmaker it's long, but it's really dope. All the production is great. The guests kill. They're awesome. There's all kinds of interesting things. There's a spoken word piece called Success, where he just kind of breaks down success and all the angles on it. It's really dope. It's still like I'll beat you in the face. There's that kind of stuff, but there's like therapy talk and PTSD talk. Um, Jason Martin is on there. It's still very West Coast. He didn't abandon what he learned. He just grew into a new version of that. And I think that's what we're talking about, right? Like the one that's being held up as the success and should be, I'll be honest. The Force by LL Cool J.
Okay.
From last year, which by the way, I still listen to a lot.
Q-Tip did that whole project, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. LL Cool J in 2002 couldn't have made 30 Decembers. Right? There's songs on that project that are an evolution for him. As a writer, as a performer, right? But it is clearly LL doing his LL thing. And
do we even know who released that project? Do we know? That wasn't a major label, was it?
I wonder if it was if Def Jam grabbed it.
Like,
yep, Def Jam Recordings and Virgin Music, dude. Interesting. We were talking all that shit. Yeah, I remember they made a push for him because this is the revitalized Def Jam under new people, and they wanted to kind of get more hip hop cred.
right.
So they grabbed him and did that. Yeah. Def Jam and Virgin Music Group. Yeah. But that was a success because it pushed him into new spaces. And I think that's what people are a little bummed out about the Slick Rick thing, that there aren't a lot of new spaces there. The production is kind of old and stodgy.
I mean, I think with LL Cool J and Q-Tip, like those are big brands in hip hop.
Sure.
So if I'm going to invest in a project, I'll be willing to invest resources in these legacy brands because both Q-Tip and LL Cool J have a built-in audience that they've established over decades.
Right. I hear you. But and so it's 2 points, right? When L and Q-Tip come together, the people that love them come together.
Yes.
And they understand it's a big event. But they also come together and spark each other creatively. Right?
Yes.
So, and by the way, like it just works a lot better in my opinion. Something like the Auditorium Volume 1 with Pete Rock and Common.
Mm-hmm.
Pete Rock makes beautiful sleepy beats. Common's whole life is beautiful sleepy wordplay, right? It's kind of fudge on fudge. It's, too much fudge,
Right.
right? Q-Tip and LL, very different worlds, but not opposing, right? Just like, so it was cool to watch that come together.
Right. It's an interesting like I think of there's a project, upcoming project, I think that uses kind of the same concept. It's an interesting like mix of both worlds when you have LL and Q-Tip come together. It's intriguing.
Right.
That's when you're tuning in, you're kind of intrigued about what's going to become of this collaboration.
And beyond intrigued, they are as artists excited for what they're going to do.
Yeah.
Right? Oh shit, this is crazy. I'm gonna get the like do some stuff like Run It Back as an example. That's such a fucking Q-Tip ass beat. That's such a like a Tribe Called Quest beat. And to hear Cool J bend himself around, that was fucking awesome, right?
Yeah.
That's new shit with old shit. And
You know,
that's what people are looking for. If you're coming back as an older artist, you got to give us new shit with this old shit.
well, I think once you reach a certain level, it's like I like to go back to movies. Like I think of I don't know, like who's a famous director, Scorsese or something.
Mm-hmm.
If he wants to he could pretty much get any project done that he wants to. If he has an idea, he could call up someone and say, "Hey, I got an idea." He's gonna get a meeting. If look at Leonardo DiCaprio's career now. Like he can be, because he's earned that right. He can do whatever he wants now.
Sure.
And he'll whatever he does, he'll be able to get people to back him in some capacity.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, dude. I mean, but the key is once they back him, he's got to deliver something that makes him satisfied and his audience satisfied. So
Mm-hmm.
if you're doing that stuff, you've got to be like, what am I doing and why is it exciting? You know?
Mm-hmm.
That's the ticket to move through there. But there's been a lot of focus on those older artists because they're the only ones left with brand name recognition.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're the only ones people, like, oh man, you remember Exhibit? He's back. You know? Uh, I can't do that with Russ.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like, oh man. And like there was a new like the new XXL freshman class just got announced.
Oh wow. Okay. Where's that? Do you have it in front of you?
Um
I'd be interested to hear some of the names.
yeah, it's there's some names on there. Um I can pull it up. Okay. Good. It's always Reddit. Reddit is always the first. Um, Here we go. Okay. Ray Vaughn, Baby Chief Do It,
Baby Chief Do It now.
1900 Rugrat, Ian Triplin, Samara Sin, CYN,
Okay.
boy Ian, Jello,
Jello?
No, Gelo.
Oh,
You know
Gelo.
Jello.
Oh yeah. Look, the ball kid.
Yeah, the ball boy. Um, Laser Dim 700. YTB Fat. Low Shimmy. Nino Paid. EBK Jabo? Maybe Jabo. The blocking letters are really annoying. But yeah, it's that's what it is, bud. How many of those do you know?
I only know Jello.
Yeah,
I only know him for that one song.
I know Jello, I know Ian, I know Rayvon, but I think that's probably my three that I do. And Rayvon, to when I listened to it, was kind of boring. I'm not gonna lie. Um, but yeah, it's okay. I mean, it's just how do these people get there? The world is so isolated. The world is broken down into these customized pockets now. I wanted to be clear. We're not shitting on the artists, right? Like, we're not saying they're not doing what people did in the past. In the past, there was less places to get lost in, right? If you wanted to know what was on, you would turn on the radio. You know what I mean? It's honestly not that simple now. You can turn on the radio, but there's 6,000 stations. And they're all playing some weird shit. There are some other shit.
Well, I think of like back in the day, the way the system used to work, the machine used to work is that like think of gosh, I don't know, name a popular 90s artist.
Ooh,
Like I'll go 50 Cent. We'll stick with 50 Cent.
let's do it.
Like the way that it used to work is that there would be this young talent uh who would get recognized by people already with established brands already in the game, and then there would be like a collaboration, and so the older artists would get to remain relevant and the younger artists would get credibility.
Right.
Like 50 Cent was signed by Eminem was signed by Dre. They used their name to kind of cross
Right.
promote.
Even like remember Rich Gang, Rich Homie Quan and
Okay.
Young Baby was
Right.
doing that. So yeah, I can see your point.
And so there's none of that, particularly in the pop scene, there's none of that crossing. There's none of that relationship building, and there's none of that, the old generation mixing and making music with the younger generation.
Right. Right. They're just
In a
on
way,
different planets, man.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like I think of the last art, like I think of Kodak Black. Like Kodak Black was like the last, in my mind, he was like the last type of artist like that.
Oh, that's fair.
Um,
But
and yeah,
go ahead, you go.
yeah, and so there's just none of that cross. I don't even want to call it cross promotion. There's just none of that
Events.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no events. But in the pop space is sick, and I just wanted to put some time on that.
For sure.
I want to put some time in the other direction, right?
Okay.
I think the underground is really beautiful right now.
Mhm.
And it's because they figured out ways to commodify density.
To commodify density. Okay.
Artists that make dense work, complicated work, it's a disadvantage It's always been a disadvantage. 110%.
Mm.
You just leave a bunch of confused people in your wake everywhere you go.
Mm-hmm.
We're successfully in an era of underground that values density.
Mm.
Think about what Ka has done for us. Think about what Woods has done for us, right? That there's a bunch of people coming up who are inspired by these people.
Yeah. Okay.
Their favorite artist is Ka, and so they make really dense, important work, right? Their favorite artist is Woods, so they make really dense, personal work that you have to unpack. And people love it because they're like, I recognize this. This is a lot like the other thing I love. And over time, we get like I still marvel over Shamar's emergence.
Mm-hmm.
I put a song on for my son from that album. He looked at me like it was from another planet.
Mm. Well,
It's yeah, because it's so out there.
well, I mean, I think we live in a time now where there's not a lot of there aren't really a lot of things that are intellectually stimulating, particularly uh, in the arts, I would say. Uh, there's so anything where you that kind of stimulates your mind, uh, forces you to think. You're going. A lot of people are going to gravitate towards.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, dude. It's interesting, and it's challenge. The underground audience has basically said, "I like it challenging.
Mm-hmm.
Give it to me challenging. I like having to unpack it." Underground fans are not like movie fans. You know what they're like? They're like video game fans. So,
Well, I mean, I do think they are a movie fan, and in a sense, like I think of like people who like directors like Quentin Tarantino or Wes Anderson. They take joy in liking him when others don't. You know what I mean?
yeah,
It's
you ever
almost
see
like
that oppositional
it's
reputation?
almost bougie in a way. Like,
Yeah.
oh, you're watching that Marvel. Like, I'm on the Quentin Tarantino films. Like, that's what I'm watching. That's the taste I'm at.
Yeah,
Uh, so
there's definitely a little of that. What my video game comparison was the way they approach hearing an album, a new album, right?
mm,
Um, in the sense that video game fans they don't want the game to be easy.
right,
They want to spend months on it. They want it to be satisfying when they get to the end.
yes,
So that's why they get they get a new release, you know, and they're just like, oh yeah, I can't wait to see how many nooks and crannies this has, how many twists and turns this has. You know what I mean?
mm,
I can't wait to die and come back and try it all over again. Like that's the way an underground fan listens to music. Um, they're excited for the challenge.
yeah. I could see that.
Now, everything has pros and cons, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to give you the cons. The con of that is if you're an underground artist and you just want to release something that's dope. It's not an overly complicated video game, but it's dope. The audience might not understand what you're doing or might think it's too simple.
Well, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. You know, like Martin Scorsese, he can't do a Marvel film.
Right. Because he said all that shit. Yeah.
And you know, and we talk a lot about Marvel films, but Marvel films are fun in a way, like a Scorsese, like what was that flower? What was that moon? What was the last film he did?
Yeah, the flowers of the killer
Flower Child Moon, something like that. Yeah, that I mean that was a good movie, but that wasn't like a fun watch.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So sometimes, like if you wanted to do like a fun, if you wanted to do like a fun movie, it would be a little bit more difficult for him.
So if you're an established underground player, you've got an audience, you've built your reputation, right? But
Mm-hmm.
but now you want to make fun albums. You're gonna hit that wall against an audience that wants the dark density.
Mm. And and that's what you built your brand on.
Pros and cons, man. Pros and cons.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like sometimes you just want to be happy. Sometimes you are happy and just want to express it.
Right. And often like that fun music, that's the music that gets played in the car. That
yeah.
yeah. That's
More
kind of
often, what I'm talking about, not even necessarily this is my happy album, because really there's not a lot of those, but this is my badass hip hop album.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just rapping my face off over dope ass beats. It's not complicated.
Right.
I'm not breaking down the political structure.
Right.
Right? I'm not giving you heart wrenching details of my life, but I'm killing these tracks.
Mm.
The underground has to make sure they always leave a space for that.
Mm.
Right? You have to be smart enough to understand, there's a time for Mario Kart, bro.
100%. I like that. There's a time for and you know Mario Kart is that's the one of the most popular games. You know, like, and just because it's popular doesn't mean like it's bad.
Right. Right. So it's interesting, but like I said, the the underground's in a great space. The fans are more intelligent than they've been. Um, they are, and I think they're holding artists accountable most of the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like they are, you know, taking it into account when people are, being terrible people. Uh, and that's cool. And there's slips along the way where, you know, but on both sides, but at least it's trying to happen. You know what I mean? Uh, it wasn't happening before in any way, shape, or form. So, um, yeah, it's interesting. Um, yeah, I was thinking about that. Like Nappy Nina is an interesting example of that space
Mm-hmm.
that we were talking about.
Which one?
Nina is an absolute murderer as a rapper, right?
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. Um, but and I remember there was that album where she was buried in the sand, and it didn't get a good score on Pitchfork, and they were like, it's not personal enough, right? We know she's sad about something, but what is it about? And you don't always get to know what it's about, bro. Like you're left at the level of engagement the artist leaves you at, right? And you accept that.
Mm.
Is it good? If it's good, cool, right? Like, but you can't dock somebody points for not gutting themselves hard enough or in a linear enough way, right? Because she certainly has personal stuff. It's just sprinkled in. You got to piece it together. But most of the time, she's rapping her face off over dope beats with dope people, right?
Yes.
They got it. You got to leave space for that, dude.
I agree with you 100%.
Got to leave space for that, dude.
Yeah, there's got to be space for the artist to be a person and grow themselves without feeling restricted.
Right. It's up to us as the audience to figure out what the personality of the album is.
And sometimes like we how to say this? Like just because we're listeners doesn't mean the album is for us. Like
Right.
sometimes the artist is doing the album for them because they have some things to get off their chest. So we can't just think of it like, oh wow, this didn't. You can't just see it from your perspective.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it's not for because maybe the album, like just because we're listening to it, doesn't mean the album is for us.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, I've got to find something in that artist, because technique is great, right? You're great. Your technique is great. That's awesome. But if I can find something that is interesting beyond, uh, that is that definitely helps me, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm interested in that, right? Like let's try to find a good recent example. There's an album called Rose Gold. It's by Crime Apple and DJ Skiz.
Okay.
And Crime Apple says gross shit. He says insane shit. Um, he's awesome. Um, that's already good for my wheelhouse. His technique is great. But really, what I love about Crime Apple is how he talks about relationships and how he talks about being hurt by people,
Hurt people, hurting people. You said
being hurt by people,
being hurt by people.
feeling
Okay.
left or betrayed by people, right? Like he does it in a very specific way. There's still a lot of confidence there.
Mm-hmm.
And there's still a lot of like weird gross shit thrown in there, but there's definitely reflection. There's definitely insight, you know? And that mixed with all the other shit is fascinating to me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like the character of the artist's music becomes something that you're either in on or not.
Yeah.
And trust me, Patreon people, if you pay me every month, just drop me a message. If you're interested, there are some names I can give you of people who I don't fucking like uh, the character of their music. I don't know them, but I don't fucking like them based on the continued character of their music.
Hmm.
Um,
Interesting point.
but yeah. Oh, let's do some quick hits.
Okay.
Played this game with my son. Played with you. 1 through 25, sir. You give me a number. I give you my album that is at that spot in the
Oh,
album.
okay. We'll go with 24.
24. Pulp Nonfiction by Shoddy and Lupara.
Okay.
The Lupara Click is so dope. It's, Hobgoblin and Mighty Healthy and Timepiece. All
Mm.
these just elite badass producers that are all just part of a collective. It's so cool. And so Shoddy is so awesome and consistent. Uh, and this one is he's a movie nut. He loves movies. So this was very Pulp Fiction themed. It was dope.
Okay. Who's at 20?
20. Oh, that's Kingmaker. That's Exhibit. We already talked about it.
Okay, 20. And then okay, so who's at 15?
We're going by fives. Shamar, Emergency.
Emergency. Okay, so 20 was exhibit, 15. All right. Then who was 9?
Oh, Sincerely by Caliuchis.
Okay. So exhibit 20, 15 was Shamar, 9 was Caliuchis. And then let's just do your top 5 then.
I'll give you, pick one out of the top five.
Well, I mean, one would be the obvious one. Let's go 2.
Lower by Benjamin Booker and Kenny Siegel.
Lower, Lower. Okay.
Kenny Siegel, and what an insane career, dude. Kenny Siegel started way back producing for with um the Project Blowed click and the Micah Nine and Abstract Rude Cats, and now to be with Benjamin Booker producing this rock album. It's incredible. It's a beautiful album, very unique delivery. It just has a lot of staying power, dude. A lot of staying power.
Right.
Once you get hooked, you're in. So, yep, I'll do that, and Patreon people will get the full list. um, that's cool. But yeah, so what are your favorites of this year?
Oh, man, it's difficult because like you said, I think blockbusters hold an importance in terms of it's like the way I think about it is like if you're reading a book, you know what I mean, you have to have certain moments happen in the plot that keep you engaged. So that you remember, oh, okay, like that's kind of how I feel about like there haven't been like a lot of major projects that have kind of stuck and resonated with me and remind me, okay, like this is an important project and it kind of or it's not I'm not it orients you to the rest of the projects around it.
Pace setters, not a lot of
Yeah,
pace. Yeah.
yeah. But as I said, I think there have been a lot of great, particularly in the underground, like obviously obviously the Billy Woods that stood out to me. Oh, and then the other one, give me one moment. Uh, Gosh, I'm blank. We've talked about it extensively. Half of Shrapnel. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
Premrock. Premrock.
Premrock, yes.
Yeah, did you enjoy your time here?
Did you enjoy
Yeah,
your time there? Yes.
yeah, dude. That's to do a little minute on Premrock, right?
Yes.
Did you enjoy your time here is probably the epitome of the great video game experience. of the Underground album of like, oh man, Prem's dropped a new album. Who's going to be producing on it? Oh my God. There's a Billy Woods follow up to Bardo. What are they going to talk about? Right? Like
Yes.
he gives you the what are the references? Oh my God, this is a poet reference. This is a like it's it sounds beautiful, right? It's cinematic,
Yes.
but it gives you all those weird hidden levels and trapdoors and cool shit, you know?
Yeah. And that's for me, that's a project, and I'm sorry I blanked out on Prembach's name, but I think that's one of those projects that, you see it early in the year and then it resonates with you. And then when you go back at the end of the year, then it becomes even more like I think that that's going to be an album that really grows with me.
I'm with you, man. I'm with you. It feels like a career thing.
Yeah.
I've listened to that album a lot. We so oh, interesting. I got an interesting question for you.
Okay.
I don't think you planned on this one.
Okay.
This is 20. This will be 25 shows we've recorded this year.
Oh, wow.
That's a lot of shows.
Yeah.
1 year, you know? Is there any episode that you can think of where you're like, damn, that's close to my heart. That's crazy. That was a crazy conversation.
Oh man. Gosh, I need a list. Let me get a list in front of me.
You get the list. I got while you do that,
Go ahead.
I got one more thing. You talked about Prem Rock as an important album. When I was researching for Pale Black Negative, the Reese Langston,
Okay.
I kept getting deeper and deeper in love with the album. Like, this is amazing. And then after the interview was over, people around me in the Discord universe were like, it's one of my that's one of my favorite albums of the year. And I was like, you know what? Legitimately, I think Pale Black Negative is one of the really important albums of 2025. Legitimately, it's beautiful, it's catchy, it's experimental, it's lyrical. It just achieves on a lot of levels. Uh, and I just think that people should mark that because this is potentially a very important person that we're looking at.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I mean, so obviously the one, the recent, the Brother Ali interview.
Yeah.
That's probably, that's the most obvious one to me.
Was that 252 or 253? I feel like that's one.
That was going by the list. That was 253.
Bang! See?
Yes.
Let's
Let's see. I thought the episode 242, Sorry for Your Loss, with Sacco and Vanzetti. I thought that was a great.
That was so good. That's such a good shout out, man. I'll give you mine.
Okay.
Episode 237 with the West Coast Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Yep. Nacho Picasso Squad of.
Like, that was magic to me because, I just hit a lot of people up. Like, here's my idea. Do you want in? And it's a crazy idea that I've had in my for a while. And I just like hit people up. Hey, you want to come in? And Squad of B's like, maybe I will, but this might be a little outside of my time frame. And I'm like, hang out. It's cool. And Nacho comes in, and Nacho is like, he said all he does is work out, watch anime. Like that's Nacho's a crazy person, man. He's incredible, and like one of a kind. And then Mega comes on, and Mega is, super active, super intelligent, well-read, politically minded, you know what I mean? Historian of this shit. And to have Nacho and Mega connect on such an intrinsic level
Mhm.
immediately was just so beautiful to watch. And then Squatta feel totally welcome within that. And by the end of it, it's just a fun ass conversation built from nothing, man. That's
Yeah,
kind of cool.
the energy of that show is a little bit different than other shows that we've done. Yeah,
Yeah, I love that, man. I loved it. Um, but the Brother Ali was like,
yeah,
a lifetime of,
yeah.
that being able to throw that stuff was pretty fantastic.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, we've had a lot of show. So we've done 25. Like each of the shows, it has like what I like about it is they all have like their own distinct flavor.
Mhm.
You know, some depending on the guest, like some shows are very chaotic in a good way. Some are very like like that the not the West Coast. Some are just like a hangout session.
Yep.
Then some are really like philosophical driven. Some are really like technical driven, where we're talking about
Nuts and bolts. Yeah.
nuts and bolts types things. So you never know what you're gonna get from each episode. So
Yeah. We mold ourselves around what who we're talking to, man, and
yeah,
that's been fun. So yeah,
sure.
I just wanted to get that in. If people want to catch up on those, pull up that list. Boop, boop. So we got a recommendation corner.
Yeah, go. Let's go.
Let's go, buddy. Recommendation corner. Have you heard? Did I talk to you about Do It Afraid? The Yaya Bay? I might have done that last week.
Jewish. No, I don't think you talked about it last week, did you?
Either way, yeah, Do It Afraid is the album title. Yaya Bay.
Mm-hmm.
It's fantastic. 18 songs. Very few people elicit stronger emotions in me, you know? Uh, so I really enjoy it. So the album's fantastic. And uh the other one I've pinged you on, September 26th, we're getting a new Lady Ray album.
Yes.
And I'll tell you, what is it? Best for Us? Man, that singles that's hard, dude. That's crazy. Shout out to her. I'm excited for that album. The other one that's really interesting, really dope, is Run for the Arts by Milk and Spinach.
Mm.
Milk, been on the show, incredible guests. Uh, po- Podcast legend right now. Milk is on another podcast and just being Milk every week, and people fucking love it. But yeah, the first half is Milk just ripping it. It's 10 songs. And Open Mike Eagle's on it, and Blue is on it, and Win is on it. But then that second half kicks in, and it gets trippy, and it gets psychedelic, and it's totally a cool, different vibe for Milk that he pulls off because he's from Portland, Oregon. Like, yeah, that's his normal environment. So he gets to Milk is much more versatile than I think people know, but I think he lets himself do. Sometimes he's like, I'm ripping this track. I think Milk can do a lot of things and should continue to venture out, man. But Run for the Arts is dope. Very listenable, very cool.
Okay.
Yeah. What have you been rocking?
Yeah, nothing new this week.
I hear you. I hear you. Yeah, man. My new vibe is gonna be just wearing pajama pants and listening to Haim.
Oh, that's the band him.
Yep. It's gonna be a whole thing.
They seem like a pajama pants type of band.
That's what I'm saying. I texted my buddy and said, "This is gonna be my new thing." He said, "Honestly, sounds kind of nice."
So are you wearing them in public, like going out in public?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay, yeah, I could rock with that for sure.
public pajama pants person
Absolutely.
that can make that step. We'll see. We'll see how it all goes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out to everybody. Yeah. We'll keep it in mind, man. Join the Patreon. Support people. Fight for your people. You know?
Mhm.
Be there for them when they need you. Yeah. Love to Heather Peters.
What will tomorrow bring? What will tomorrow